All right, thank you everybody for being here today. My name is Vsousa and I'm the Photo LLC. Also, all these photos are my photos. I want to start with asking, what is a photo? What is a photo to you? Technically, a photo is capturing of light inside a dark box on a sensitive still image of real life. But what is a photo to me? Capturing of history. It's a moment in my history, in your history, in your friends and your family's history. It may not be history book worthy, but it's important to you. One day, if you do something ending and the whole world wants to know your history, now it's important to everybody. A brief bio about myself. I'm 23 years old. I was born in Georgia and raised a military brat, so we moved a lot. Home is where the heart is for me. I learned that, and that's why photos are so important. They help me remember everywhere we've been, everything we've done, and special moments in our family. I was a successful student, straight A's. I graduated in 3 years instead of 4. I was an athlete in school, very good and well-rounded when it came to academics. Personal life, I liked books and fun. Growing up, you get kind of lost a little bit, so finally. I got a scholarship for Army ROTC, a 3-year scholarship at U of A, and I attended for 2 months before realizing it wasn't for me. I wasn't ready. It was pretty much all about school because my parents, it made me feel good, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, where I was going, so college didn't fit. So dropping out was the biggest decision I made for myself ever in my life at the time. It was against what my family had wanted, because they wanted the best for me, but I had to take that first step into knowing what's best for yourself that no one else may know is best. Out of that decision, still don't regret it, maybe one day. But after that, I spent a lot of years being a jack of all trades, master of none. Averaged about 6 months at every job that I worked at. Once the challenge was gone, the boredom came in. Hard to stay doing something that I wasn't happy doing, and a lot of people tried to convince me that that's just part of life. You accept that you hate your job, and that's part of your life you don't want to do, and then you go home, and that's when you're happy, and I just couldn't accept that. I thought it was kind of terrible. So I kept leaving my jobs, which caused instability. Financial choices weren't always the best. I see now why, that was the case. I needed a challenge that was big enough for me, and I now found that. I took a film photography course at the community college because I wanted to start getting back into school, but work my way in slowly and doing something fun rather than all the core stuff I focused on in high school to graduate early. And I took that film photography course, and it stuck. I had the inspiration from my grandfather being a photographer in the military. He passed that down to his son, who was my dad, who took pictures of his family. That was his way of photography, was us and special moments in our family. And then my brother picked it up in high school, and he took a more artistic approach with it and doing portraits and abstract. And I was kind of wanting to let it be his thing at first until I wanted to take that course. And once I did, I realized it was something I really loved and enjoyed. So I definitely stuck with it after that. I had to transition to digital because film is costly nowadays. It did teach me amazing groundwork for my photography, though. You have to make it right in those 24 shots. You don't get to know if you've exposed it correctly, so you have to really understand how a photograph is taken, how the camera works, and how to do it right. So I'm glad that was my start. After that, I took pictures for 4 years as a hobby. It was something I did of friends, of family, things I loved, things that I looked for the beauty in non-conventional things. I tried to find things that were nice that other people may have walked right by and never even looked at for a second. I never thought of it being a business, despite I left insurance, and she told me, "Baby, you need to go be a photographer." And I said, "No, I just need to not work here," right? But she was right. She was actually right. I needed to pursue it. I was just scared that it would become work and not my passion anymore. It was being forced to do because someone's paying, not my heart's not with it. So that's what held me back for the longest time. But I met my current fiance, and he is someone who has had to sell things to get by. And so he understood the principle of creating an opportunity and creating a business rather than only working for somebody. I only thought that you could be an employee. I don't know why I felt like the employers were a whole different breed of human, but when that clicked in my head, I knew what I needed to do. I knew that that was why I had struggled with working for others and working in the same thing with no change in what you're doing, where with a business, it's constantly evolving as your business evolves. And so I decided to take the leap, and I pulled an LLC April 29th, 2021 this year. That was an exciting time because I was working at a car dealership, but I had done one or two shoots, and handing over those pictures to them and editing those pictures gave me a feeling that I had never felt before and that I wasn't feeling it or at the car dealership. So that was the highlight of everything, and 3 months later, I quit my job and jumped in full time. Yeah, that was awesome. That was scary. Had to tell my family, I think I'm about to leave this job that might make me over $100,000 a year to do a business that nobody knows about. But I'm grateful that they pushed me to make the best decision for me, regardless of what anyone else thought, which is something I'm always working on. Doing what's best for you and not what others think. Your life ultimately. The other thing is that once I realized entrepreneurship, I was capable of it, I didn't just want one. I really want multiple businesses, and that's going to be in my future. But photography was the first opportunity I had to have a business. It was a low startup cost, and I already knew the skills and everything required to perform the service. And having the sales experience, I knew that I could market myself and just get the jobs that I needed. So this is the first business venture of many. That was me and the establishment of my business. The business that I have right now serves Pensacola, Florida, and surrounding areas within 2 hours. I'm open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and closed on Sundays. Those are the business phone hours. I do photo shoots by appointment only. And Sundays are my day to recoup and enjoy my family. I was working 7 days a week. I didn't see it as bad because it'd be like 1 or 2 hours or 4 hours on Sunday, and it's hard when you have a business to stop. But I realized how important that your relationships are, because if you're all focused on your business, you become a millionaire, but you have no one to enjoy it with, it's not worth it. So I make sure to keep Sundays open for my family that deserve that, and I do. My current niche is people and animals. I did one car shoot, and I will never do another one again. So I was starting out doing everything and anything, especially when I went full-time. I needed any income I could get. But now I'm choosing people and animals only because I love the spark of the soul. Sometimes it's just the interaction between people that they don't realize they've got this look on their face, this smile, or the emotion just comes out when it's a person or an animal. That's really what captures me in photos. Currently, I'm employed at Caligas Photo here in town. It's a local photography shop. I started working there because I needed some sort of regular income. My business was young, and I was expecting too much out of it. I felt like a failure, but I realized that that's kind of everybody goes through it. So I'm glad that I stepped into that, and especially that there was an area in town that I could be in the same field as my business. It gives me the opportunity to gain a lot of knowledge, and they have equipment, used equipment that I have access to for free. So it's actually elevated my business because I use a higher quality camera than I own at the moment and can afford to buy at the moment. So that's awesome. And having people around me every day is really nice too. I was sitting in my corner of my room for 3 months, however long I was solo, and it's nice to just have people to talk to. So one day when my business is big enough and I have people around me, it'll be a lot easier too. That leaves before 10 a.m. and between 6 to 8 p.m. to work on my business. It's hard to give someone else my time now that I have established my own business, because that's exactly what it is I'm giving him time that I can spend on mine, but he's returning to me a lot of value and a way to help support my family and sell my business. Going backwards. Able to move this and minimize. Cool. Okay. So services that I do portraits, various subjects and occasions, families, senior portraits, baby, couple, engagement, lifestyle, which are my favorite. Lifestyle would be you guys just doing what you do, and I'm the fly on the wall capturing it. So it could be a day at the house, it could be going to some park with your family, anything like that, and it's zero posing. Candid are my absolute favorite. They are very authentic and genuine. Prices are $250 to $500. That's including my first price raise. I was starting out doing $100 and $150 shoots, and now I'm needing that time to be more worth my time. So I've raised my prices. Price is dependent on how many people are in the picture. I don't like to limit the number of pictures. I feel that they shouldn't sit in my computer rotting away with nobody getting to enjoy them when they're the ones that would appreciate those photos. So I don't limit my photos, and I also go kind of ham when I'm taking pictures. I just, all the moments. So they end up getting 50 plus photos is so many more than most photographers. You'll average about 12 to 15, and that's a much higher rate than what I'm charging. And eventually I'll be able to get up there. But I give that many because it's like a slowed down play-by-play of the entire thing with individual frames to look through. And something that I've done, I wanted to present my product in a way that helps me brand myself. So instead of handing over a USB, I created gift boxes to put the USB in. And since I had to create those gift boxes, I customized them. I have to pick a material anyway and a fabric, so I pick one that goes with what their photo shoot was. Pretty cool. And then I also have a bag of popcorn and a letter from me to them, letting them know my intention is for them to sit down, slow down, and look through the pictures and really appreciate that 1 second moment over the course of 5 seconds. You may see a lot more in it than you would have in that moment. So I'm glad I started doing that. I think that it's going to get people to really part of my photos and not just, okay, yeah. No time limit. I take the time it takes, and the $50 deposit required. That's all my cards. So these are the gift boxes. This one was from a wedding. The groom had a little flower, and then the pink wasn't actually his shirt, it was their theme. So I pulled their theme and his outfit together for that. And then this was a maternity shoot that she was wearing a flowery dress, and it's a baby girl. So that's the theme I went with on that one. And then this is for like a beach shoot, someone coming to visit and wanting pictures with their family. That's what they get. Let me pick my cards up. I also do events. love events because there's so much happening at any given time. I kind of feel like they are like a sports game when I go to them because I have to be prepared to be snapping away almost the entire time and not missing special moments. I do private, corporate, and community events, $250 for an hour, $200 each additional hour. Also 50 photos, but per hour. So that's an average of 1.2 photos a minute. I do that easy because of how many I take. Doesn't help with the editing, but ends up being good for the client. I deliver those digitally, preferably, but if they ask for a USB, I'm always happy to provide them one. But they do have to be much larger USBs because events require more photos, so I charge them every time I've lost it. I also created a photo booth because I wanted a way to be needed a way to be active in the community. If there's events happening and people are there, I need to be there too. And I didn't know how I could do that as a portrait photographer or event photographer. And I thought of what booth idea somebody would actually be interested in. And of course, pictures of somebody are the best. And if I print them out on the spot, then hey, we've got a photo booth. So I put this together. It's a 10 by 10 booth, and it only requires a power outlet. It's also rentable, and I do want people to learn that over time. They could have it at their birthday party or their wedding and have a custom template around it with their name and information or whatever they want it to be and have their guests having a blast with it. And the props are eventually going to be themed, you know, for the season and for whatever the event may be, but at the moment it's kind of various things that are silly and goofy and work. Because I need the capital up to be able to invest in those theme props. I've used it for, that was at a Wsousa event where I volunteered and gave free photos. They wanted us to give out goodie bags, but I couldn't purchase the goodie bags to give out, so I just brought my booth and gave photos out for free. That was really fun. The kids loved it. Cost and profit of my business. My initial investment, I'm not sure if my camera counts. I bought it 5 years ago, not at the time of investment, but it was $300. I keep doing that. And the LLC was $160, so that was a very, very small initial investment, you know, in comparison to maybe a restaurant. So that plus the $800 photo booth, gas, props, all that good stuff totals out to $4,625. And on the up end, my commercial profit brought in $3,770, private $2,250, community about $350, but that's priceless because you're getting a lot of people are seeing my name, and that's already valuable, and people are having fun. And I don't charge much, but it does the job. It provides value for me. Total profit is $6,391, which leaves the gross profit at $1,766 7 months in. I'm really proud of that. At first I wasn't. I was like, dang, that's so low. But I hadn't added up my costs, and I was focusing on the $6,000, and that's definitely, you know, part of it. You have to make balancing. So I'm very proud that I'm in the green. My marketing strategies, I used Facebook ads and boosted posts at the beginning when I was at the car dealership because I had that money to feed it, and they did work. I did get photo shoots out of it, and it was a successful investment. I just need to be able to make that investment again and get back into paying it regularly, and then also I want to improve my targeting skills so that I'm not just kind of willy-nilly doing it. I know that there's an algorithm. I attend a lot of network meetings. Those have definitely been the most influential and helpful things to my business. The connections made with other people are super helpful to them letting other people know about me or maybe them needing my services, but even more largely, it's helped with my personal growth and development, which I'm sure you guys know when you grow yourself, your business grows with it. I attend community events whenever and however I can. I frequent gallery night right next to Graffiti Pizza. And I volunteer as well at the Pensacola Humane Society. I've done a lot of pictures for their animals, and so they have to get them adopted. And I also did the photos for Barktoberfest, which was really fun.
Hey, Valerie?
Yes.
I'm so sorry. We're actually going to have to end it there for at least take a break.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your guys' time.
We'll come back afterwards and just have a think we have on the video, and they have to leave pretty soon. So marketing strategies, we're right here. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. Okay, Valerie?
Yes.
Excellent job.
Went through the first set. I also do free samples now and then when I can. Downtown, I have a mini printer. It prints out a little 2x3 print, and it is a way to promote myself. I post daily on my Facebook page. I need to get better with all the social medias, but that's coming with growth. And I also came up with a project that is in the works right now called Local Savers. Local Savers is a recurring coupon book with only local businesses inside, and it highlights one business and one nonprofit for each issue. That highlight is me interviewing them and doing a photo shoot of what they do and asking all the who, what, where, whens, and whys about their business and their nonprofit, so that the people who opened up that coupon book are also going to be getting fed that information so that they're more informed about things going on in their community. And the whole thing is to encourage foot traffic towards local businesses. It's free to the public to ensure that it ends up in their hands. Free savings, who doesn't want that? The way that it's paid for is by the businesses paying for a coupon slot, and instead of paying for advertisement, you're just filling a coupon space. If lots of businesses don't like the coupon idea, that's okay. It's not for them. It's for those businesses who want to provide value and who are okay with letting go of a little bit to give to somebody else. You're going to gain that through more repetition with that person. Also, the money that they gave is a donation towards that nonprofit that was highlighted. So then in the back, on the back page, you'd have a photo of that nonprofit receiving a big giant check, and right next to it, all of the logos of every involved business saying that these businesses are how this donation was made possible. So that's great PR for the companies involved. It's also great for the people who are reading it. It's great for the nonprofit. It's a give, and we all know that giving is great. It's also a good platform for those businesses, and I see a great networking opportunity out of it. If we have like a hosting party or release party like VIP does, it's a chance for all of those business owners to connect with others who like to give back and who care about the community. I'm trying to make the first one at the moment. It's a lot to, try and make those sales calls, get people to jump on board with something that doesn't exist yet, but I'll eventually get the first copy out, and I know that once it starts to roll, people will want to be a part of it, and it'll grow from there. And the goal is for it to be its own nonprofit, so that it's not about an income, it's about the service that it provides the community. And then that's also, networking, or my name at the bottom, brought to you by Vsousa Photo. Eventually that will come back, and if not, it's still helping everybody involved. My why, which is important for any business, I want to share the love of photos with the world, one person at a time. I have the culture of business in my control as the business owner. I've been an employee for so many people, and I've been treated at different levels for each of them. And I just think it's important to treat your employees right, because your growth is not possible without them coming into work. You can't own 50 McDonald's without somebody being there flipping the patties at every McDonald's. So they should, just employees need to be appreciated more. And if I can create opportunities for people to work for someone who cares versus working for someone who doesn't, then I'm all about it. Importance of photos in any format. It doesn't have to be about having the most beautiful photo taken on the most high-tech camera. It's about pulling your phone out when something really cute happens and taking a picture of it so you have it forever. Just want to get people to get more into the photo spirit, which I'm glad phones have made that very common. And I'm inspiring people to grab a camera that gives the gift of appreciating every magical moment in life. have to slow down and see the moment as it's happening. Growth for Vsousa Photo, I want to register for a DBA, doing business as, and stick to Vsousa Photo without the LLC. I'm going to invest in a BBB accreditation to make sure that people see that quality and credibility is important to me as a company. I'm going to join some networking chambers that require the payments to get into, because those are other people who are invested in what they're doing and more serious, versus I'm going to a lot of free ones that they're good and bad. You got to definitely look for what you can out of them. And I want to invest more in my equipment, my props, and just investing the business larger. And then from there, with more saving, eventually getting a studio with 2 or 3 rooms so that I can rent out some studio spaces as well, and not just using it for myself, having it be a place that the whole community can use. Photographers who are where I am now and don't have access to it would have access to good stuff. I want to offer classes, one-on-one or group classes, and I also want to have cameras on hand so that all they have to bring is themselves if they don't have a camera, and that increases my reach. I'm going to host events regularly where the model is already dressed, the scene is already set, and people just pay at the door to come in and enjoy that experience, getting to photograph something they may have never done before, need to experiment with, or are wanting to get into. Also, at that point, if I'm able to afford a studio, I'm going to step up my community involvement with donations and sponsorships. I know what $10 can mean to somebody, so I want to make sure that no matter what point I get with my business, I'm giving back at any way I can, in the best ways that I can. And we're going to enter into dreamland, but dreams are a reality when you believe in them and chase after them. So eventually, I'm going to have a multi-building area, and it's going to be a large-scale camera store with a used department, printing services, a dark room so people can go in and develop their film themselves, a computer lab with Photoshop, a camera repair shop, equipment rental, large-scale lessons and classes constantly going, studios hosting even larger events, letting people host their events in my space, Local Savers having its own area, coffee shop and vendors so that they're there already, they can have meetings or whatnot, a museum just because I love photography, and this is the part that obviously will be a huge investment, but having 4 biomes, each one a different scene, so like Wild West, Miniature World, Mars, whatever crazy thing that would be an amazing scene is the size of the park downtown, each one, and it's something that you can show up, like when you go golfing and grab a golf club and walk through the whole thing. You can grab a Canon Rebel, throw it in auto mode, and walk through the entire thing and get some crazy cool pictures of you and your family or whoever, or a professional photographer can go in and create an amazing photo with an amazing scene already set up for him. And then that would be the whole thing. Very, very big project, but I will be investing in real estate and getting big into that so that I can feed my business from my own pockets out of my outside investments. I know that one day this investment will pay back, but I also understand it'll be a lot of investing before it does come back. And I'm okay with that because I love it and I want to share the love of it, and I want people who know nothing about photography to still love photography. One more. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I repeat that to myself on a daily basis. Time is dependent on square footage, investment, capital, and time since I started. Once it's fully realized, it'll be the heart of the photography industry with talent from all over the world wanting to be a part of it in some way. There is nothing like this in the world, and Walt Disney was thought to be crazy at one point. So I'll use the influence to encourage goodwill towards man and revitalize the appreciation of photography and photos and their importance for history and the making.
We'll see if, we're getting close on time. Close on time. Is there any questions that we can answer on Zoom land?
I got one.
Michael Silver, go ahead.
Two questions. One, are you selling prints to generate additional revenue? I heard you say something about you get the popcorn and you have the people look through the photos. Are you selling the prints, or do you give the people the rights to print their own when you give them that USB drive?
I give them the right to print their own just because I don't have my own printing equipment, so other than, a 4x6 printer. So
Right.
if they want high quality prints, I'm just going to be paying somebody else and then charging them. So I figured to skip the middle step and stick to the photography.
I've seen it a few times with some photographers I've worked with. They work with companies like Miller's Photo Labs, which is an online one, and you have to have the business to order from them. And I've seen them, they essentially, just like any business, you mark up what it would cost you. And you say, hey, we offer all these printing options, and you can sell them for what will make you money. But that's just kind of an idea out there. I like the photo booth thing you have. I actually might reach out to you about that.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate your advice.
Yep, no problem.
Carlos, you have a question?
Oh, yes, sir.
Do you have a question, Carlos?
Oh, yes, sir. Sorry about that. Question is this, though. Have you thought about doing a nonprofit? Have you thought about running a nonprofit parallel to the current company you have?
To the what that I have? I'm sorry.
Like,
Current company.
I thought about running a nonprofit, though. Like you run this current company that you have, but you run like a nonprofit, though, parallel.
I do want to get into nonprofits. It's just currently something I have not a lot of information about. I'm not sure what goes all into it, but it's something I definitely will be trying to get my head wrapped around because doing a nonprofit is important to me, obviously.
Thank you, Carlos. Appreciate the question. Any questions in the room briefly that we have for Valerie?
Just a comment. Can you hear me? Just a comment. One of the things we commonly tell our entrepreneurs at CoLab, don't quit your day job too soon.
Yeah, I did. I was excited, but I'm
back for
really that time that I was totally focused on my business, I was able to get a lot of things rolling that now are just kind of coasting because I'm busy with my other job, but I got a lot rolling during that time because I had all the time in the day to work on it.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Valerie. Appreciate it. Last question we have is, what can we do as a community to help you out?
I'm really in search of a mentor who knows about owning multiple businesses, somebody who has that experience and is willing to sit down with me on a regular basis and kind of get invested in what I'm doing and help guide me a little bit from experience. That would be awesome if anyone knows somebody. That would be great.